Chef Luck Scones in Delicious in Dungeon. Act 1. Into the Dungeon Market. The thick fog of the dungeon market hung in the air, a strange mingling of roasted Wivingtail and caramelized kobold onions. Chef Luck Scones adjusted his trademark toque as he surveyed the bustling scene. By his side, Dr. Dimsung carried a satchel with culinary implements. One never knew when inspiration might strike. Chef Luck, I must say, Dimsum began, his tone part awe, part trepidation. Venturing into the dungeon's depth for a recipe seems a tad excessive, even for you. Excessive? Perhaps, Chef Luck replied, his eyes scanning the stalls with the precision of a falcon. But there lies a mystery most profound. Rumors of a dish so transcendent it defies conventional description. The Phoenix Souffle, a creation said to use ingredients sourced only from within these labyrinth halls. Dim Sum frowned. And what of Mitchell and Nardi? Surely he wouldn't let such a prize remain undiscovered. Chef Luck's expression hardened. Exactly why we must act swiftly. I received word from Iceland Batter that Mitchell and Nardi was last seen gathering rare ingredients. If he claims the Phoenix Souffle for his own, the culinary world, no, the very essence of gastronomy could be at stake. Act 2. The Goblin's Clue. Their first stop was a curious stall run by a goblin chef, a connoisseur of dungeon delicacies. The goblin offered a pungent jar of Kamara liver pate, its aroma thick with promise. How may I assist, esteemed culinary sleuth? The goblin rasped. Information, Chef Luck said, leaning in. We seek the recipe for the Phoenix Souffle, and I suspect you've heard whisper of its preparation. The goblin's eyes glinted. Ah, the legendary dish. I've only heard fragments. Phoenix feather for the leavening, ember yolks harvested from fire drakes, and the tears of a water nymph to bind it all. But be warned, the path to such ingredients is fraught with peril. Chef Luck nodded, unfazed. Where might one begin? The goblin pointed towards the depths. Seek the ember cauldron deep within the magma spires. But tread lightly, for Mitchell and Nardi himself passed through here not long ago. Act 3. The Ember Cauldron. In the sweltering heat of the magma spires, Chef Luck and Dimsung's preservation was rewarded. They came upon the Ember Cauldron, a bubbling pool of molten fire guarded by a towering salamander. Beside it stood a familiar figure, Brindraft Scones. Brindraft, Dimsum exclaimed. What are you doing here? Brindraft smirked, tossing a glowing ember yolk into the air and catching it with ease. Covering your back as usual. Mitchell and Nardi left traps throughout the spires. If you're not careful, you'll end up as salamander chow. Chef Luck's eyes narrowed. Do you have the ingredients? Most of them, Brindraft replied, tossing a small satchel to his brother. But the phoenix feather? That's another story. Mitchell and Nardi's stolen it, and he's headed for the Crystal Kitchen. Act 4. The Crystal Kitchen. The Crystal Kitchen was a breathtaking cavern of shimmering quartz and ice. In its center, Mitchell and Nardi loomed over a blazing phoenix, its radiant feathers igniting the room. Scones, Mitchell and Nardi sneered. I knew you'd come, but the Phoenix Souffle shall be mine. Its secret, however, dies with me. Chef Luck stepped forward, calm as ever. You forget, Mitchell and Nardi. Recipes are stories, and stories long to be told. You can't hoard culinary brilliance. In a flash, the phoenix burst into flames, its essence captured in a single shimmering feather. Mitchell and Nardi lunged for it, But Brandraft intercepted, his reflexes honed from years of daring escapades. Dim sum, Cheflock called. A rolling boil, if you please. Dim sum, ever the loyal sous chef, produced a portable burner, and the three set to work. Cheflock dictated measurements with precision. Brandraft whisked the ember yolks, and Dim sum folded the phoenix feather, its ethereal glow suffusing the batter. Mitchell and Nardi, defeated and furious, vanished into the shadows. Act 5. The Souffle Triumph. Later, in the safety of Baker's Row, the trio unveiled their creation to Iceland batter. The Phoenix souffle rose like a dream, its texture impossibly light yet rich with flavor. Perfection, Iceland whispered, her voice reverent. You've done it again, Cheflock. Cheflock smiled, raising a glass of sparkling elderflower cordial. To the art of cuisine, my friends, the true treasure of any dungeon.